The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Impact segment tonight, the sheriff of Pinal County, Arizona, about 70 miles north of Mexico, says that President Obama has issued a de facto amnesty for all illegal aliens. Sheriff Paul Babu joins us now from Phoenix. Why do you say all? It's only supposed to be 5 million or so, Sheriff.
Right, 5 or 6 million, so says the president. Yet in reality, what he talked about is those who have been here for 5 years or more, they are now eligible for this president's legal permanent status. And so what we're going to see happen, and we've seen this happen before, is the age of the fraudulent documents. You're going to see fraudulent lease agreements for rental properties. You're going to see fraudulent utility bills, all the documents that the president will need to satisfy the very tertiary look to satisfy the requirement for his legal status. And so this literally will encompass just about everybody, the 11 to 20 million illegals who are here, because clearly they aren't interested in fully enforcing the law.
Of course, anybody who could get in would tell me about these fraudulent documents. I mean, how common are they? How easy are they to produce? Do you see them on a regular basis?
Absolutely. The number one crime today in the United States is identity theft. And we see this time and time again, both as my days as a patrol officer and now as a sheriff. We run into fake IDs and documents all the time. We've actually run into these exact situations where we've stopped illegals for breaking the law, whether it's for a traffic violation or some other call that we're on. And the Supreme Court requires us to, if we have a reasonable suspicion that a person is in the country illegally, we ask that question and then we call ICE. And we've had these conversations with ICE and they say, well, how long has a person been in the country? And they say, well, they're here for 5 years or longer. And they say, well, treat them as any other citizen. So if you and I just came here from Honduras or some other country, and the obvious response to that question is we've been here for 5 years or 6 years, even though we've been here for only 6 months.
So that's lying, though. I mean, I'm talking about the fraudulent documents, the Social Security cards,
yes,
as you mentioned, the utility bills, the rental agreements. Is there an industry in Pinal County in Arizona that grinds these things out? Are they easy to get?
Absolutely. And this is where you're going to see this happen. We've seen it in Chandler, where you could buy these documents for $50, $75, or $100. And I had a conversation again today with Chief Ron Colburn, who was a deputy director of the Border Patrol, who said we're going to see this mass production of these fake documents just to satisfy this requirement to get above the 6 million that the president just said could stay here without.
Yeah, I mean, look, it makes perfect sense that industry would just harvest itself right away. Now, as far as your county is concerned, you have plenty of immigrants, both legal and illegal. And is this going to change the way that your community operates?
Absolutely. We already see the impact here, and you're going to see across the country the impact. What the president just did is say, hey, to the millions of illegals who have yet to come here, make it to the border and you're home free. Because we've just announced we arrested cartel scouts. These are drug cartel scouts that are providing safe passages for the cartels to bring their drugs into the United States. These are guys on mountaintops with binoculars and encrypted radios that are there for a month at a time. This is 70 miles north of the border. Clearly, the border is not secure. We see these illegals, 123,000 was the last number the Border Patrol put out here. So if you see these numbers, this is what we call clues in law enforcement that the border isn't secured. Why doesn't the president put that as a priority, America's security and securing the border first for once, instead of putting the priorities and the interests of people who have disrespected our laws and our process? And that's what I would request this Congress do, is offer solutions to the president and turn the tables back on him.
All right, Sheriff, we appreciate it. Thanks very much. Aaron, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Why do you ignore Sheriff Arpaio's assertion that President Obama's birth certificate is a forgery? Well, because Sheriff Arpaio has not presented any hard evidence to back up his assertion. Secondly, I am very busy. I looked into the birth certificate myself and found out there were 2 separate birth announcements made in Honolulu newspapers on the day Barack Obama was born. It would be impossible for that to happen unless somebody was conspiratorializing the birth of a little mixed-race baby. If that were happening, then I guess you could have birth announcements planted. But the odds of that, Aaron, are about 29 gazillion to 1. Right?
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.